Welcome everyone to part 2 of Scratch Off Strategies. I'm Bill Koza. So in this video we're going to talk about the distribution of tickets, the remaining prize list and the remaining prizes, and then take a look at some statistics behind that. And then I'm going to show you how I sort of proved the theory of the statistics behind it. It's pretty simple, but I needed to do a little digging in order to get a straight answer on that. The next thing is pools of tickets and the distribution behind the pooling of the tickets. And that'll lead into the number of packs or books of tickets that are in the game, and then that leads into reading the ticket numbers, and it's a clue to improving your chances of actually winning. So let's jump right in. Every state has or should have a remaining prize list, so you can understand how many of the top prizes are left in each of the games. In this case, Illinois only shows the top tier prizes, so I was interested in what were all the remaining prizes for each of the games, because I wanted to understand how many tickets were left in each game. That helped me figure out how far the game is progressing. So the first thing you can look at is take this game, this $300 million cash spectacular game, and then let's just get a quick calculator here. Let's just do a quick check on this number here. This is the $1,000 prize. Right now it shows the most number of remaining prizes for this game, so we're going to use that number to start with to test this. So let's just do a quick math. Let's just take the 1,143 remaining prizes that are left and divide it by 11,550, and that gives us about, it says 9.89%. That's 0.098. That's about 10% of the remaining prizes are left. So I thought, well, that should mean that there's about 10% of the prizes left in the entire game. And you can look at another number here, this 81 of the $5,000 prize. Let's do that real quick, 81, and divide that by the 990, and that gives you 8%. So it's within a percent, and that's what you typically would expect to find, something that's statistically close. If it's within 2 or 3 points, it's probably pretty close. But I needed to understand if that was true throughout the rest of the prizes, the $100 prizes, the $20 prizes, the face value prize. And I would call the Illinois State Lottery, and they couldn't really tell me over the phone, but they did ask me to send a request in writing, and made sure that that I referenced the Freedom of Information Act, which I did. And they did come back and they said, yeah, the request is granted, so we'll give you the document. So they sent me 62 PDFs with each of the remaining prizes that for each of all the games that they offer. So this was very helpful. And I can pick any game here, and I'll show you what they basically sent was the total list of all of the prizes that were paid out, and this helped me figure out how many were remaining. And it helped me also determine if the idea behind what I had was that if the top prize showed 70%, or this is 66%, it's probably a bad example, but let's see, this is 30, here's one, 69%. If the other remaining prizes were approximately in the same 2 to 3 points away from that number, and in most of the cases, or a lot of the cases, they fluctuate a little bit, like you can see in this one. This is a $20 game. If I were to look at the $1,000 prize at 63%, I'm a little off. That's a little lagging, but that also is helpful too, because if the rest of the prizes are ahead, this one is behind. 63%, this is the percent paid, so this is ahead of the game. But this helped me figure out whether or not, if I looked at the remaining prize list, if it was consistent. So now I know that if I pick a game to analyze and take a look at, based on the remaining prizes that I do know, I can use that as a guide to sort of calculate the remaining prizes in the rest of the game. So if I pick a game, and you have to buy a ticket to figure out the rest of the numbers, so you need to know what kind of prizes are out here. Here's a game, $100,000 poker, and by entering these top prizes here, it'll automatically extrapolate the remaining prizes for the rest of the prizes in the game, which gives me a total number of prizes that remain in the game, which also gives me a total number of remaining tickets. Now, this is important too, because we're going to talk about next is the books of tickets and how many packs of tickets are in a game. And here's an example. I used this made-up game, Win Big Scratch-Off game, and let's just say there's a total of 4 top prizes, and that the odds of winning one of the prizes is 1 in a million. That tells you that there's going to be 4 million tickets in the marketplace. And if you look at each game has a number of tickets in a book. And for a $10 game, for instance, there's going to be 60 tickets in the book. And in this case, let's just say this is a $10 game and there's 60 tickets in a book. That means there's going to be 66,667 books that are going to be distributed into the market at any given time. So that's important to know. When they start the game, automatically, in Illinois at least, from a little research, I find that there's about 8,000 retailers in the market. So I know that automatically half the books are going to be released in the first when they first introduce the game. So, and in Illinois and a lot of other states, they do this super pooling where they release tickets in pools. So this is important to know, because when they say there's 4 top prizes available, there aren't 4 top prizes available when they introduce the game. There's 1 top prize in each pool. And if the pool crosses over for some reason, then you might get a second one. But until they sell these first million tickets, the second top winning ticket is not going to be in the market. So if there's still 500,000 tickets left to be sold in the first pool, and this prize is gone, this second $1 million ticket is not going to be available until the million tickets in the first pool are gone. So that's because they want to keep parity in the statistics of the distribution of the tickets. Because if they release 1 million tickets and there's 4 top prizes, well, your odds are not 1 in a million anymore, are they? They're 1 in 250,000. That's great if they do that, but they're not going to do that, because they're never going to get their money back if they did it that way. So how do we, as we play this game, turn this into a strategy? Well, what we can do is look at the back of the ticket for a clue. So here's a ticket. This is a $2 ticket. Let me zoom in a little bit. So on the back of the ticket, and this is the case, I believe, in most states. I looked at Wisconsin. They have something similar. The back of the ticket has a serial number or a ticket number on here somewhere. This isn't the serial number that you would see on the front of the ticket if you scratched it off. This is the back of the ticket. So the first, in this case, the first ticket or first series of numbers is the game number. At the other side, we have the total tickets in the book. So in this case, it's 48, and then there's 101. That's 149 plus 000 is 150. So there's total number of tickets in this particular game is 150 in each book. The center series of numbers, these 6 digits here in this case, is what I believe to be the book number. And as you can see, this one is a book number that's 6643. So as I said before, there's 8,000 retailers approximately in the state. When they initially launch a game, there's going to be at least 8,000 books in the marketplace. Now, I don't know the start number, because I do have some games that I found that go well beyond the total number of books in the game. So I know that they must start at some higher number than 00000. So, but this helps me understand how far along this book was printed. This is an early printed book, early in the game. So if I go back to my pooling concept, I can look at this and say, okay, there's going to be 16,667 books. If I'm looking at a ticket number of 5,000 or 8,000, I know it's still in the first pool. If the top prize has already been claimed, then I know that until I get past the first 16,000 books, I'm not going to be wanting to buy a ticket from that book. Now again, it's a number. If anyone understands how this starts to get numbered, then that would be great. Share it with everybody so we know. But there's some number over 16,000 before you get to the next pool. So this number might actually go up to 20,000 before it actually jumps into the next pool. But it's important to know that, so that if you find a game, like in this case, here's a game, the $100,000 poker game, there should be 45,000 books. There's 4 top prizes, and in this case the book ranges would go down here, would start, let's say they don't start at 0, but let's say they did, the first 11,250. So I know that if the top prize is gone in this game, the next pool or next batch of tickets is where the next winning ticket's going to be. But until the number of tickets sold reaches that point, if there's 50% or there's 75% of the tickets remaining and there's still tickets to be sold in that batch, they haven't gotten to the next batch yet, the next pool yet. And that's why knowing how many tickets are left in the game can give me a good idea of, back to this again, get a good idea of when to jump in and start playing. So let's take one more quick example and open up my calculator here. If I go to this game, this 250 million cash spectacular, if I do the math on the first, this bottom prize here, oops, let's put that back. Let's go 1843 divided by 9590. That's 19%. Okay, so if I go and look at the top prize that's available, 4 divided by 30, it's at 13%. So at that point, I'm not going to jump in and play for the $1 million prize on this one until that 1843 gets down to maybe, I don't know, 1600 or something like that. Let's see. We want to get down to 13% about. So let's say 1600 divided by 9590. So it's about 16%. I still need to get down a little lower. So even maybe 15 or 1400. So when those tickets sold, then I know I can start playing for the $1 million in this game again. Now back to the $300 million game, Cash Spectacular. If I do the math on the top prize, 5 divided by 35, it's at 14%. And if I do the number for the $1,000 prize divided by 11,550, it's at 9%. So this game, the 5 remaining tickets, it's lagging. So it should be down to about the 9% level by now, which means maybe there's 4 divided by 35. I'm just guessing now. That's 3 divided by 35. So yeah, there's 2 tickets that could very well be still in the market in this game. So this is good information on this video, and this is where I'll wrap it up, and hopefully you'll join me for the next one. Thank you.